companies can and do sometimes change their stripes. That's something Wall Street is sometimes slow to catch on to. But here on Mad Money, we're always on the lookout for the old dogs that are learning new tricks. We're on the lookout for you. The best example of this lately is Trinity, TRN, a company that we always knew, including me, I have to admit, as a rail car manufacturer, period, end of story. But back on April 24th, when the stock was at $28.21, I saw Trinity as something else. A stealth win play. One so good that I just added it to my Mad Money Windex. That's right, that's Wind Index. Because of the company's wind tower business. Not long after this revelation, Trinity came out with a superb quarter. They beat the earnings estimates by 8 cents. I think large part wind business. The stock is now at $38.57. That gives us a 36.7% gain. Is this bulls make money, bears make money, hogs get slaughtered? First, Trinity reported a $1.6 billion backlog in wind towers, along with a 42% revenue growth in energy equipment. That's wind. And also strong results in its barge business. Overall, Trinity's margin, or its profitability in lay people's terms, what it keeps in profit from every dollar of sales, think how much lemons, how much water, how much lemonade, subtract the lemons, subtract the water, boom, profit margin. It was a big story, as it was better than anticipated across all three of the company's main businesses. On the other hand, the rail business, which is still Trinity's bread and butter, was actually not as good as I thought. The other three businesses carried it. Street's expectations were pretty low to begin with. Now, around 3,800 rail cars were removed from Trinity's backlog, half of those because of customer problems. We got a big gain here, and we like the wind story. But the rail car business, we got to learn more about. I'm wondering if it's a good idea to scale back on this one or to keep it pedal to the metal. There are still a lot of idle rail cars out there, but we know the railroad business is great. There are a lot of cars getting scrapped. There is a longevity to cars. They are finite. In terms of railcar leasing, utilization rates have ticked up slightly, but leasing periods were shorter and prices were longer. There's some bright points in the railcar game. The leasing of coal cars and non-ethanol tank cars were both up. By the way, this company also has a nifty propane tank manufacturing business to go with that inland barge group. I think it's kind of thrown in, frankly, maybe a pastiche, if not a mosaic of businesses. So here's what I'm thinking. Trinity's worked well for us, even though the rail business has not delivered. But I want to get a better picture of this company and how it's doing. I'm thrilled to have the CEO on, Timothy Wallace. Now, he's been on the show twice before. We've always liked him. We got him again today. We're going to understand the stock. Mr. Wallace, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim. It's good to be here.
All right, Mr. Wallace, I got to cut right to it. All right? I mean, you know how excited we are about wind. Are we? Are we too excited, given back that you have a $1.6 billion backlog up from $200 million a year ago?
I don't think you could be too excited. We're really excited ourselves. It's a robust market, and we're really positioned well in that market. We've been expanding very aggressively, and we're going to continue to grow in that business.
You've got a couple of parts. It's not just making the structural wind towers. We think that there's a big issue here, which is that when you have these things, they're huge. You also bring them to where they have to go, don't you?
Absolutely. We have a transportation company. We've been transporting large objects, rail cars even before, on the back of truck trailers, so we know a lot about transporting large objects like wind tower structures.
Where are you making all these wind towers?
Oh, we're making them. We kind of identified the central corridor of the U.S. as our market, and so we're going all the way from Mexico to Texas, up in Oklahoma, recently announced a new facility in Iowa.
Oh, it is. Now, this is one thing I want to get at, because a lot of people may not realize. Maytag was bought by Whirlpool. There's tons of skilled workers in Newton, Iowa. Are you taking advantage of some of those people?
Absolutely. We have plans to open that facility in the next 6 months, and we'll probably be shipping wind towers out of there in the first quarter of 2009.
Now, you've got a lot of good businesses we went over. You got this propane tank manufacturing business. You also have what I regard as being the premier barge business to go along with the fabulous railcar leasing business. Have you ever thought, given the valuations I see being put on wind companies, that you should spin wind towers off into a separate company?
Well, we always look at the strategic options of our various businesses, and we've spun some businesses off before. And at this stage, we just really feel like there's a lot of value that our corporation can bring to the table. But in the future, who knows?
Well, I got to tell you something. What I'm thinking about, just so you know, is I'm doing a wind index. To me, you are the company that is most, that has the greatest growth in the industry. But am I taking away from other businesses? Could you tell us whether I am slighting railcar, given that CSX and Burlington Northern and Union Pacific seem to hit a new high every day?
Well, Trinity's positioned real well in a number of different industries, the railcar business as example, as well as the barge business, and we look at ourselves as being a multi-industry company. Fortunately, our backlog in the first quarter, year over year, grew $1 billion, up to $4.8 billion. That makes up our wind business, our barge business, and our railcar business.
Now, wind, we think it could be big, much bigger than anyone's talking about. We're talking about maybe 30% of our energy coming from wind. Now, that would mean that it's not just going to be that so-called peak period that solar's talks about, but the actual base business in electricity. Again, I need a reality check. Are we too bullish on that?
I don't think you're too bullish. We're growing ourselves very aggressively in that business, and we're here to stay. We're going to be the largest player in that business. We're currently the largest player, and we're right there with you, Jim.
How the heck did you think of doing it?
How what?
Did you see it coming? Did you see it coming?
We've been in the wind business for probably 6 or 7 years. So we were in the down cycle in the wind business. The good thing about us is we've got manufacturing flexibility. We can build tank cars in that shop, we can build wind towers in that shop, and we can build the large propane tanks in that shop. So we really focus on manufacturing flexibility and being able to shift our products from line to line. And that's exactly what we've done in the wind tower business.
Let me just circle back to rail. There was a customer, I think, that was a problem that caused your numbers to not be what the street had. Is that just going to be transferred into the next quarter? Are we back on track, railcar?
Well, what we had happen to us in that particular situation is one of our customers went bankrupt. They've not canceled the order yet. They're still working it out. And just to be conservative, we went ahead and pulled those orders out of our rail car backlog. We don't have any other situations like that occurring right now.
I should mention to our viewers that that's not unusual that Mr. Wallace is conservative. One of the reasons why I like him in Trinity. One last question. There is a gigantic wind fest coming. It's going to be, I think, the coming out party for wind, which we think is the next big technology. Will you be speaking at that, coming to the big conference?
No, we will not be speaking there, but we will be attending, and we'll be spending time with the customers and the other people in the industry, networking, doing what we do real well.
You're telling me the best story isn't going to be presenting?
No, we'll be there, but we're really focused on, like you said earlier, doing what it takes, the nuts and bolts to build the business and develop relationships with the customers. And we're going to let people like yourself do all of the big speaking.
Well, I'm happy to play that role for you, sir. Thank you, Timothy Wallace, Chairman, President, and CEO of Trinity Industries.
Thank you.
All right, listen up, everybody. I can't take profits in a story nobody knows about yet. I can't take profits in a story that is the least promotional management with the hottest sizzling business. Trinity stays on my buy side. Stick with Cramer.